Yeah. Hair flip. Yeah, I'm a badass bitch. I don't like it. Hair flip. Yeah. Oh my god. So you guys should be happy. Oh my goodness. Hair flip. But anyways, hair flip. And hair flipping on these hoes. Hi.
Hello everyone and welcome back to your boy SeanDavieWay. Like and subscribe if you have not already. I appreciate all of your continuous support. It truly means the world to me. Today we will get into the TV show The Game. There are a lot of elements to this show and it also has been broadcasted on a lot of broadcasting networks. So it's going to take a little time for us to break this down in its entirety. So we'll do a couple parts. We'll definitely do 2 parts for sure because a lot has transpired. So without holding you any further, let's get right into The Game. The Game is an American television series created by Mowry Akil. A spinoff of UPN's Girlfriends, the series premiered on its successor, The CW, on October 1st, 2006. The series was canceled in May 2009 after 3 seasons. Viacom's BET Networks would strike a deal with CBS Corporation to develop new episodes of the series, relocating the taping of the show from Los Angeles to Atlanta, and announcing its renewal at the April 2010 upfronts. New seasons began airing on BET starting January 11th, 2011, with the 4th season premiere drawing in 7.7 million viewers, making it the most watched sitcom premiere in cable television history. The show would air for 6 seasons on BET, being renewed for its final 2 in 2014, and concluding its run on August 5th, 2015. In May 2021, a renewal of the series was ordered by Paramount, with Robertson and Sanchez returning, with the revival series premiered on November 11, 2021, and was renewed for a 2nd season in February 2022. For the first 5 seasons, The Game was centered around Joan Clayton's first cousin, Melanie Barnett, played by Tia Mowry, who was first introduced in the 2006 Girlfriends episode of the same name. Melanie is a first-year medical student who has given up an offer of admission to Johns Hopkins University School of Medicine in Baltimore to follow her boyfriend, Derwin Davis, Pooch Hall, to San Diego. Against the advice of her parents, Derwin is a first-year rookie football player with the fictional San Diego Sabres team. As Melanie settles into her new life, she meets Tasha Mack, played by Wendy Raquel Robinson, the mother of the Sabres starting quarterback Malik Wright, played by Jose Sanchez, and Kelly Pitt's Brittany Daniel, and the then wife of Sabres captain Jason Pitt's Kobe Bell, who warned her to keep a close eye on her boyfriend because of the numerous gold diggers who approached the professional football players. As Melanie learns to balance her new roles as both a med student and the partner of a professional football player, the series focuses on the evolving relationships between the players and their significant others. The main cast. Tia Mowry as Dr. Melanie Barnett Davis, MD. Melanie is the show's main protagonist in season 1. Melanie is a medical student who gave up the chance to attend Johns Hopkins School of Medicine to move to San Diego with her boyfriend, Derwin Davis, while attending a less prestigious medical school in the area. Melanie is the cousin of Los Angeles attorney turned restaurant owner Joan Clayton of Girlfriends. In season 1, Melanie and Derwin break up due to Derwin's infidelity with singer Drew Sidora, which starts a series of ups and downs between the two. In the season 3 finale, Melanie finally marries Derwin during a private ceremony, after a public ceremony was interrupted by the birth of Derwin's son by his ex-girlfriend, Janae. In season 5, after confessing that she felt empty just being Derwin's housewife despite their wealth and Derwin's success, she decides to pursue her medical career and begin a residency at the program Johns Hopkins School of Medicine. Derwin was against it at first, but eventually came around. In May 2012, Mowry announced via Twitter account that she would not be returning to the game for season 6. In the series finale, Melanie made an appearance in where she was pregnant with her and Derwin's twin babies as the episode closes. Pooch Hall as Derwin Davis. Derwin is a wide receiver for the San Diego Sabres and the husband of Melanie Barnett. In the season 1 finale, Derwin has an affair with Drew Sidora, and Melanie breaks off the relationship. In the beginning of season 2, after desperately trying to get her back, Derwin acts out against Melanie for a bit until she saves him from a gold digger who tried to trap him by getting her pregnant. Derwin and Melanie became cordial for a minute as they both went on their own way and were seeing other people. But a run-in at a grocery store and later at Derwin's apartment on the day of the Super Bowl stirred up their old feelings of love again, as the two passionately kiss upon sight the second time. The off-field drama didn't affect Derwin's play on the field though, as he began to be a rising star for the Sabres until he suffered a bad knee injury in a playoff game. In the season 2 finale, he finds out his ex-girlfriend Janae is pregnant with his baby, and he and Melanie get back together. Derwin ran into some on-the-field issues due to his injury. The Sabres considered cutting him for a little while. And off-the-field issues throughout season 3 questions whether he actually was the father of Janae's baby, Melanie and Janae feuding, getting with Melanie but not being all in. Melanie breaking up, then again getting back with him while having an affair with a handsome doctor. Derwin breaking up and trying to get with Janae only for the baby's sake, and finally breaking up with Janae and proposing to Melanie. In the season 3 finale, Derwin's son is born and he finally marries Melanie in a private ceremony. In the 4th season premiere, there are still some questions regarding the true paternity of Derwin's son. Derwin emerges as a superstar player in season 4, getting numerous endorsement deals including Nike and becoming the new face of the Sabres organization. In May 2012, it was announced that Hall would not return to the game for the 6th season. However, in August 2012, it was announced that he would be returning for a final episode. In season 6, Derwin was traded to the Baltimore in exchange for Blue, and he was enemies of Bryce Blue Westbrook, who was chosen by Baltimore as the #1 draft pick. This allowed Derwin to be with Melanie, who was in Baltimore doing her residency. The trade, however, was not planned by Derwin, but executed by the team owner because of Derwin's responsibility for the injury of former teammate and quarterback Quan Kirkland. Wendy Raquel Robinson as Tasha Mack. Tasha is the brash, bold, and flamboyant mother of Malik Wright and begins the series as his manager. Malik, giving his mother an ultimatum at one point, eventually fires Tasha. It is then that Tasha builds her own management company, Tasha Mack Management. She dissolves the company, however, to join Irv Smith's management, ISM. In season 3, she falls in love with former NBA player Rick Fox, who also works for ISM. Tasha ends up getting fired from ISM and dumps Rick in the aftermath, assuming that he knew all about Irv Smith's plans to fire her. In the season 3 finale, Kelly Pitts and Tasha have a falling out when Kelly discovers that Tasha set her then ex-husband, Jason Pitts, up with his new girlfriend, Camille. The altercation soon turns physical, with Kelly attacking Tasha. Season 4 started with Tasha as Derwin's agent. She also begun dating a younger man named Dante, played by former 106 & Park host Terrence J. In season 5, Tasha decided to be celibate after a brief romance with a former escort, Carl Anthony Payne. she eventually falls for her longtime friend, Pookie, played by Rockman Dunbar. In season 5 finale, her ex-boyfriend, Rick Fox, returns. In season 6, she appoints herself Sunbeam's president due to Jazz arguing with everybody, with Tasha and Kiera in Chardonnay. At the end of season 7, after breaking up with Pookie, upon Pookie finding out about her affairs with Rick and later with Rick, she becomes pregnant and delivers a baby girl by Pookie. In the series finale, after revealing the feelings they still had for each other, Tasha and Pookie decide together to be happy and move in their own house with their baby daughter. Brittany Daniel as Kelly Pitts. Kelly Pitts is the wife of Jason Pitts and the mother of Brittany Pitts, and former president of the Sunbeams. After their relationship gradually becomes more and more strained in season 2, Kelly and Jason divorce at the beginning of season 3. At the start of season 4, it is revealed that Kelly is now a reality TV star, with her own show centered around the ex-wives of professional athletes. Her character was bumped down to reoccurring in season 4, and her character was effectively written out of the show in season 4 after she stated to Jason that she needed to head home to her parents and find herself again. Daniel had no further appearances in the series after that season, but in season 6, Kelly is heavily mentioned by the remaining characters, especially Tasha, after being referred to a therapist by Kelly. Tasha reveals that Kelly has since moved to Paris. She made her return in season 7. She comes to Chardonnay in Jason's wedding, where Jason reveals he still loves her, ending the wedding. She and Jason get remarried in season 9. Jose Sanchez as Malik Wright. Malik Wright is the San Diego Sabres superstar quarterback and the son of Tasha Mack. Arrogant and cocky, Malik initially begins the series as an immature womanizer. He falls in love with actress Robin Givens and convinces her to marry him as a publicity stunt. In the beginning, he lived with his mom but eventually gets his own place for the purpose of being able to party every night. He also fired his mom in season 2. In the 3rd season, he finally meets his father and half-sister Pooch, whom he tries to help with her singing career. In season 4, Malik is still a cocky, spoiled playboy who is sleeping with the wife of the Sabres' new owner, guest star Megan Good. Malik gets incarcerated for hitting a cop and getting a DUI, and goes to rehab to solve his newfound problems. In rehab, he falls for a troubled supermodel named Jenna Rice, played by Tika Sumpter. In season 5, Malik has financial issues and is forced to sell his multi-million-dollar mansion and his cars. The season 5 finale, Malik ends his relationship with Jenna. He seemed to be getting his life together, but then had converted back to his old ways. During the season 6 finale, after Malik lands in the hospital for being beat by a group of men, he learns he won't have full use of his football arm anymore. In season 7, Malik goes through physical therapy in the hopes of getting back into football and falls for his previously lesbian physical therapist, Yana. In the season 7 finale, Malik ends his relationship with Yana, and in season 8, rejoins the Sabres, but loses his position as team captain to Blue. In the season 8 finale, he and Kiera admit their feelings about each other after being best friends for a long time. In the beginning of season 9, Malik and Kiera are in a relationship as he and Blue begin feuding and becomes the laughingstock of the team. Then in the last episode, Malik breaks up with Kiera after realizing he wasn't truly in love with her the way he loves Yana. Kobe Bell as Jason Pitts. Jason is a San Diego Sabre former team captain and superstar wide receiver. Later is head coach. He is the husband of Kelly Pitts, although they divorced in season 3. Jason and Kelly have one child, Brittany Pitts. In season 2, realizing the skills were visibly diminishing, Jason starts using steroids to boost his performance. The Sabres win the championship that year, but once Kelly finds out about his steroid use, it puts a strain on their relationship, leading to their divorce in season 3. Jason had a girlfriend briefly in season 3, guest star Stacey Dash. However, he is single at the beginning of season 4. Jason is officially cut from the Sabres in season 4, and he becomes a correspondent on Benched, a sports news television hosted by NBA basketball player Chris Webber. In season 5, he is a correspondent on his own show, The Pit Stop. and is a romantic relationship with wife-girlfriend Chardonnay, played by Brandy Norwood. In season 6, Jason makes an attempt to come back but suffered a concussion, affecting his playing ability among other things as well. He retires for good at the beginning of season 7. In season 7, Kelly returns and attends the wedding with Chardonnay and Jason does not marry Chardonnay, admitting he is still in love with Kelly. In season 8, Jason courts Kelly again despite her initial reluctance, and is also named interim head coach of the Sabres. He and Kelly remarry in season 9. In part 1, we're just going to focus on the main cast, meaning from season 1 to basically 5, and then we will go on from there. And I think it's important to tell you things that you probably didn't know about the game. Like, did you know that there was a lady that filed a $40 million lawsuit against Mowry Akil and Warner Brothers and others for allegedly stealing her ideas from a novel that she sent Mara. So let's get into this lawsuit of basically this woman stating that Mowry Akil stole her idea by reading her book that she sent her because she wanted to write for her, and Mara allegedly took the book and ran with it and made it into a show called The Game. So let's get into the lawsuit. Now, the allegations against Mara are alleged, but the lawsuit is very real. In September 2006, writer Stacey Robinson filed a $40 million lawsuit against the CW, CBS, Warner Brothers, and Gremlin Productions for copyright infringement. Robinson claimed that she applied for a job as a writer's assistant in 2005 with the series creator and executive producer Mowry Akil, to whom Robinson had subsequently sent her novel Interceptions. The novel is about a woman who decides to put her goal of becoming a lawyer on hold to follow her boyfriend as he pursues a career as a professional football player. After receiving the novel, Robinson was interviewed for the job but later declined the position. Robinson alleged that Akil and a CW screenwriter stole the idea from her novel to create the series. The suit was settled out of court under a non-disclosure agreement in September of 2007. So, I do believe that Stacey was telling the truth, because that book was written before the game ever even came out, the book Interceptions. And the difference is that instead of a lawyer putting her job on hold, it was a doctor doing so, which was Melanie Barnett, to follow her boyfriend as he pursued his dreams to becoming a professional football player. And Mara offered her a position as a writer, and she declined, which I'm assuming it had everything to do with the contract is why she declined. And Mara continued with the idea even though she wasn't a part of it. So Mara thought it was a great idea and continued to go with it, although she did not have permission from Stacey to do so. So Stacey basically won her lawsuit because it was settled out of court, and the idea was not original. A huge fan of Mowry Akil. I'm a huge fan of her, from Girlfriends to so many other things, Moesha, and other things that she has done. It was kind of a letdown to know that she kind of went against this woman and used her idea instead of using her own. But once again, she basically won the lawsuit because it was settled outside of court, and there is a non-disclosure on the information of what it details of what she actually won in the settlement. When the show The Game first started, there was a different Derwin Davis. So Pooch Hall is not the original Derwin Davis. He was actually played by an actor named Aldous Hodge, and he was written off of the show early on because he had a demanding schedule, allegedly. So that's why the original Derwin Davis is gone. He just left simply because he was doing other work, and he was not booted from the show. He was not kicked off or anything like that. Wasn't any drama. He just left because he wanted to venture on to other things. Now, I found this weird because if you pay attention, The Game is a spinoff of the show Girlfriends. So with The Game being a spinoff of there, Aldous played on the show Girlfriends. He was Lynn's brother. He played the character name of Matthew, and he was Lynn's half-brother that when Lynn finally found her father on the show Girlfriends, because Lynn was adopted, when she finally found her father, he had a son, and that son name was Matthew, and he was also played by Aldous Hodge, which is a connection from the show Girlfriends to the show The Game, which is confusing because Lynn's brother Matthew on the show Girlfriends was kind of dumb. He didn't really know what he wanted to do with his life. Lynn brought him to an audition for a band of the group that they were playing trip hop music, and he ended up auditioning, but he didn't get in, and Lynn kind of stole the spotlight and got put as the lead singer, but she still got her brother to be in the band because he just played like a tambourine or, something like that. So he was actually a character on there. So to have him be Derwin didn't really make sense for the fact that Melanie and Derwin went to college together and they fell in love during college. And then after is when Derwin was scouted to be on the Sabres. So he would have had to have went to college, and Lynn's brother did not. He did not go to college. So it wouldn't have made any sense. So getting rid of him, I thought that that's why. It's because he played the same, well, he played on Girlfriends and now he's on the game, but the characters don't mesh. They don't add up. So I always thought that that's why he left, but it really wasn't. The reason he left is because he had other work that he wanted to do. Another thing people don't know, and some do, is that Drew Sidora, she played herself on the game. She was hated, and not just on the show, in real life. Fans of the show The Game would approach her in real life and really tell her that they hate her, that they don't like her, and that she ruined the show and that she ruined Derwin and Melanie's relationship. And I'm definitely one of those fans. Although she was just playing a character, she was playing herself. So it's like literally you went on the show and ruined the best relationship of the show. It's kind of like a Martin and Gina type of relationship with Derwin and Melanie. People love their characters as, dating, like being together. They didn't really like them apart. Everybody rooted for them to be together. And Drew Sidora is who came in and kind of broke that bond and kind of just destroyed everything between Derwin and Melanie. So a lot of people did not like her. And I have to be honest, I am one of those people. I couldn't separate the fact that she is just playing a character, that this is a role, that she's literally not coming in and ruining the relationship, because Tia Mowry is married in real life and so is Pooch. Like, they're not even together, but people were so involved within the show that we were actually upset with Drew. Like, we were very mad at her. Drew did an interview on Gossip on this, and she also talked about it while she was on Atlanta Housewives, of how the fans of the show treated her, and it wasn't the nicest. People were really mean to her. So let's get into her interview on Gossip on this. Here is the Gossip on this article and interview with Drew Sidora. The interviewer's name is Bonnie, and she is speaking to Drew Sidora about the show The Game. Here is Bonnie's first quote. Now, you mentioned The Game, which I'm a huge fan of, and a lot of people are. I hated you on The Game. Drew Sidora laughs and says, oh my God. Bonnie's quote, I was such a Derwin and Melanie fan, but from the different characters on The Game, who do you think resembles you the most in real life as far as personality, just the whole nine? Drew answers, who do I think is like me in real life? Is that your question? Bonnie answers yes, or which character you can identify with the most. Drew answers, I think the real reason people love The Game so much is because they can identify with pretty much everybody in the show. It's very real. All of the characters were created by Mowry Akil, and she allowed us to kind of create and have somewhat of a say-so as far as things we felt would make it more real. So a lot of women come to me, and at moments I felt bad for Melanie, but then at certain times I felt bad for Drew's character. And because at some point a woman either has been in a relationship and the man cheated on them, which was the case with Melanie. Or they were the woman that the man said he was single and they have a relationship with you, and then you found out that he actually had a girlfriend or was engaged or actually married, which I think all women experience at some point in their life. So for me, it's like I've been on both sides. I've been on the Drew side and I've been on the Melanie side. I know people who have been married and they are like Kelly in the show, where it was devastating to go through a marriage and have those ups and downs. So it's so real for any woman wherever she is in life, and you have to be able to relate to someone on the show. I can definitely identify with my character as well as Melanie, because I think if you ask any male if they ever lied, if they've ever cheated, 90% will say, yeah, you know what it is. But I think that's why people love the show so much, because they felt it was so real, like I know these people. Even the interviewer hated Drew Sidora for coming in between Melanie and Derwin's relationship. So being a villain on a show can be very hard because once again, Drew did nothing, but even in real life, when people would see her, they would say like, "Oh, we hate you, we don't like you." And that would have to suck, to see fans, and instead of them being like, "Hey, you're Drew Sidora from the game," it's kind of like, "Ugh, we hate you." So shout out to Drew Sidora. We forgive you. I'm glad that she has a forgiving heart because she understands that people were just, feeling some type of way because they were very invested in the show. So she didn't take it to heart, but still at the same time, it's kind of hard to take disrespectful comments for a character that you played instead of actions that you've actually committed. So yeah, so shout out to Drew once again, and we forgive you. Don't do it again. Moving right along. Back in 2006, The Game was one of the first TV shows that debuted with the newly merged CW network. The series centered on a trio of football players who played for the San Diego Sabres and the women who support them. Derwin Davis, played by Pooch Hall, is the engaged rookie receiver who is trying to resist the temptation-filled life the NFL offers. While veteran quarterback Malik Wright, played by Jose Sanchez, already indulged in those same perks by building his own strip club and sleeping with enough women to fill a personal library. Aging wide receiver Jason Pitts, played by Kobe Bell, has already experienced his fair share of the high life, but with his years in the league being numbered, he's obsessed with winning an NFL championship ring to escape his father's shadow. Jason's also determined to avoid bankruptcy that affected his father and indirectly himself, even though his actions are placing a strain on his own family. The women are various modes of supportive. Even when going through their own personal crisis, Melanie Barnett, played by Tia Mowry, like fiancé Derwin, is practically wide-eyed when adapting to the world of professional sports, along with the additional pressure of finishing medical school and eventually practice medicine. Former teen mom Tasha Mack, played by Wendy Raquel Robinson, doubles as Malik's manager and often puts herself in compromising situations to support her dating life, her career, and her son. Ex-cheerleader Kelly Pitts, played by Brittany Daniel, is often forced to balance her family life with husband Jason and their daughter Brittany, while navigating her way back into the world of a working mom and becoming more independent. However, obligations to her family and the Sabres organization often impede her in the worst ways. The series ran for 3 seasons on the CW before being canceled. BET then picked up the show for 5 additional seasons, and while Tia Mowry left after season 5, the series ran for 3 seasons on the CW before being canceled. BET then picked up the show for 5 additional seasons. While Tia Mowry left after season 5, the show gained Lauren London, Jay Ellis, and Brandy as regulars. When The Game returned on January 11th, 2011, 19 months since the CW's cancellation, the ratings hit an unprecedented 7.7 million viewers during the premiere, the largest viewing audience for a sitcom premiere in cable television history. The numbers dwindled for a steadier 4.4 million come for the season 4 finale, but it's still much higher than the CW's broadcast. In fact, the Game's rating on BET often matched or even surpassed those on the CW's lineup at the time. Just like other famous couples on television like Martin and Gina, Ross and Rachel, and so many others, Tia Mowry and Pooch Hall definitely got labeled that, the Derwin and Melanie type of love on TV. People loved their relationship. There sparks rumors, no different than Martin and Gina, which is Tashina Arnold and Martin Lawrence. People speculated that there were things going on between them because they had such great chemistry on set. It was the same thing with Derwin and Melanie, Tia and Pooch, which is the furthest thing from the truth. There was never any affair between these two. They were great friends, still are great friends, and it's also rumored to why they left the show is because allegedly there were things going on between Tia and Pooch. That is a lie. That never happened. They did kind of leave around the same time, which is around season 6. And let's get into the reason why Tia Mowry left, because she was the first one that left this show. Tia Mowry Hardrick, the actress that starred in the original series as Melanie Barnett Davis an inspiring doctor who struggled with her role as the girlfriend of an NFL player named Derwin Davis, first appearing as a fish out of water. Melanie eventually formed a close bond with Kelly Pitts, who also won't be returning for the revival this season, and Tasha Mack. Tia departed from the show in season 5 and returned for the series finale, which saw Melanie and her husband Derwin welcome twins. Tia's quote, "I loved Melanie. I loved playing every bit of her," Tia says. "I don't think I'm going back at this point. For now, there have been no conversations about me coming back, and I am good with that. I'm doing so many things as I've gotten older. I try to do things that impact and that are more purposeful and inspirational in some kind of way in my life. There are things that I like to focus on, and there are things I put my time and energy into. That's not to say Melanie was not one of those things, but I've done that already. I want to create and leave the space for other inspiration. There is so much more." She adds, "I don't feel like there is much else for Melanie to do and say. She has such an incredible story. Everything I do has a beginning and an end. And once that chapter is over with, it's time to start a new one." Long story short, Tia Mowry basically got fired. And why I say that is because she says, if you pay attention, she just says that nobody reached out to her. There was no conversations about her returning to the show. She didn't get any scripts for the following season. And she also didn't get a new contract for the new season or seasons to come either. So at that point in time, obviously her character's done, her character's over if they've already signed new deals to do more seasons in the future, and I have not been contacted at all. That means that I am gone, which was definitely a blow to the show. At that time, Melanie's character was getting feisty and spicy, and it was just getting better and better. Melanie's character was doing DNA tests behind Derwin's back. The nurse that she had do the test for her, it was a faulty test, so it came back that wasn't Derwin's child, and in all actuality, it was his child. And not only was that going on, Melanie wanted to go back to school and she wanted to get her doctorate. Her and Derwin were pregnant with twins, so we could have watched Melanie as a mother and Derwin as a father again, but finally having children with Melanie, because at times we started to think that Melanie's character couldn't have children, and come to find out she could. So it was really bittersweet with her leaving the show. And I think that it was one of two things. I think that the company didn't either want to pay her for what her worth was for the new contract, or they didn't want Tia because Tia was a very busy actress at the time. She was doing a movie on Lifetime. She was also doing a movie elsewhere that had nothing to do with the Lifetime. She was doing another show. She also was talking deals with Netflix and other people. So she was really busy, even the Disney Channel. There were so many people contacting Tia wanting to do things with her, and she was already contractually bound to other contracts that she signed before signing a new contract with them. And being on a sitcom, your attention is their attention for you, I should say, is very demanding. They need you all the time. It's a very demanding job. So with her having all of these other projects, they basically would have had to do filming around Tia's schedule, and that may not have been beneficial for them. So they just decided to write her out instead of, have her throughout the show, not being able to have her when they need her. Instead of like, oh, but we can't shoot today because Tia is gone, or we can't do this today, we can't film this scene because Tia's off at this, studio shooting for them. So they probably just didn't want to deal with the hassle because she was once again so busy. But we were very sad when Tia left the show, because Melanie's character was so influential and essential to the cast, to where it was a bummer for everyone. Even the people on the cast, they were very disappointed about it, especially Pooch Hall. So once again, shout out to Tia. We love you. Moving right along. Although Melanie won't be appearing in the revival, her husband Derwin is slated to return and really turn things up, per Wendy Raquel Robinson, who stars alongside Jose Sanchez as series OGs, Tasha Mack and Malik Wright. Walker's Kobe Bell, who played the comically frugal Jason Pitts in the original series, is also expected to drop by this season. When Tia Mowry left the show, I was devastated. I'm not going to lie. I loved Melanie Barnett. It was just something about Tia's role and her character that was so influential throughout the show. So it was basically built around her and her life. Like, don't get me wrong, other people were definitely main characters like Jose and Wendy. They played very integral roles, but Melanie and Derwin was everything. Like, Martin would not have been Martin without Gina and Martin. Just like the game would not have been anything without Derwin and Melanie. They really set a tone for that show. And I think that that's why it wasn't as successful per the views, besides like longevity, it being successful, is because they didn't have the main elements, which was Derwin and Melanie. So in part 2, we will get into other things that occurred between the set with Melanie, well, aka Tia Mowry, and Pooch Hall. And we will also find out why Pooch left, and we will dive into the other revival series of the game, including Lauren London and more. So I hope you enjoyed. I love you all, and until the next video, bye.